When I was 17, I walked out in the forest, and I haven't turned back since. The forest is my home. So I've lived a whole life living naturally and in a way that I believe in, living my passion.
What if a life dedicated to simplicity and nature concealed secrets darker and more complex than anyone expected? Deep beneath the weathered barn of legendary mountain man Eustace Conway lies a discovery that has stunned local authorities and sparked whispers of government involvement, and possibly something beyond scientific understanding. From sealed crates to eerie skeletal remains, what investigators found challenges everything we thought we knew about this man and his mountain preserve. Could this be the greatest revelation of a lifetime, or a guarded mystery better left untouched? The unexpected discovery. What began as a routine safety inspection quickly spiraled into a scene straight out of a mystery novel. After powerful storms damaged parts of Turtle Island Preserve, local officials were tasked with checking the safety of the old buildings on Eustace Conway's property. When they approached his barn, they found it secured with heavy iron latches, far more than what one would expect for a simple storage space. Multiple attempts to reach Conway went unanswered, and under the supervision of law enforcement, the officials finally gained entry. Inside, the atmosphere immediately shifted. The familiar scent of aged wood mingled with something metallic and oddly sterile, as if the space held more secrets than anticipated. Along the barn's walls, inspectors found numerous crates, each meticulously labeled, covered in dust, and sealed with old wax. Yet the biggest shock came not from the crates themselves, but from something discovered quite by accident: a loose floorboard that concealed a hidden wooden hatch. Behind that hatch lay a narrow staircase descending into complete darkness. The investigators hesitated, their flashlights piercing the black void below. What awaited them was unlike anything they'd imagined. A secret chamber packed with shelves lined with glass jars, rusted instruments, and bundles of books wrapped in animal hide. The meticulous organization suggested someone had spent considerable time working here, preserving and documenting materials far more complex than farming tools or storage items. One first responder later remarked, "It didn't feel like we were in a barn anymore. It felt like stepping into someone's secret world." Authorities immediately secured the area and called for backup, turning a routine inspection into a full-blown investigation. Rumors swirled as news spread. What had Eustace Conway been hiding all these years? Conway himself arrived at the scene, not with shock or panic, but quiet disappointment, murmuring that they weren't supposed to find this yet. Official statements remain tight-lipped about the exact nature of the find, but insiders agree this discovery was unlike anything previously connected to the mountain man's legacy. For a man who has long championed self-reliance and simple living, the revelation of such a hidden vault challenged everything outsiders believed about him. The barn, once thought to be nothing more than a workshop and storage space, clearly held a far deeper secret. This finding only fueled speculation about Conway's past and what motivated him to transform a humble structure into an underground archive. It became clear that what lay beneath was central to unlocking a new understanding of his life and work. The timing of the discovery, following deadly storms and widespread turmoil, only added to the air of gravity. Amidst the shadows and dust, authorities prepared for a careful and thorough exploration, knowing that the contents could rewrite the story of a man who many thought they knew. Each crate, each floorboard concealed layers of history and mystery, waiting to reveal their impact. Nobody could have predicted how far this hidden discovery would extend in both scope and implication. Neighbors and friends expressed a mixture of disbelief and curiosity. Those familiar with Conway's intense protectiveness over his preserve had always sensed his barn was more than it seemed. Yet the scale and secrecy of this underground vault shocked even the closest watchers. What motivated a man known for simplicity to keep such complex and carefully hidden records and specimens? The questions grew louder with each passing hour, but answers remained elusive. As investigators prepared to delve deeper into the stark subterranean chamber, the quiet mountain preserve transformed from a sanctuary into a focal point of emerging secrets. Officials remained silent on the specifics, but their swift mobilization hinted at something extraordinary, or perhaps dangerous. The initial discovery was just the beginning. What followed would soon expose the layers of Conway's hidden world. What happened beneath the barn would challenge not only local authorities, but the very narrative of a man devoted to nature over technology. It was a turning point that forced a reconsideration of what self-reliance meant for Conway, and perhaps for many who admired him. What they were about to uncover would test their understanding of wilderness, survival, and human limits. The secret vault's contents. Descending into the chamber beneath the barn revealed a meticulously organized collection that seemed more suited to a research laboratory than a mountain man's hideaway. Rows of shelves bore dozens of glass jars, each containing preserved specimens that defied simple explanation. Animal organs, feathers, bones, and even botanical samples that seemed to glow faintly under the investigators' flashlights. The sheer variety of preserved material suggested an obsession with cataloging the natural world in minute detail. Among the specimens, hand-bound journals sealed in wax caught particular attention. Each bore cryptic titles: Cycle Study, Reversion Data, Project Living Legacy. The contents hinted at extensive scientific inquiry, far beyond the typical interests of a survivalist. The writing was precise, almost clinical, blending natural observation with theory. It appeared as if someone was studying the fundamental cycles of life and transformation, chronicling phenomena that bridged biology and philosophy. Nearby, a wooden table displayed an array of tools that blended old and new. Scalpel blades worn by age sat alongside delicate handmade microscopes fashioned from salvaged glass, while syringes and magnifying lenses suggested recent and ongoing use. The juxtaposition of decades-old metal instruments with more modern pieces implied a continuum. Someone had been systematically working here over a long stretch of time. This was no mere hobby. It felt like an underground laboratory hidden away from the world. What puzzled investigators even more were the crates along the back wall, some marked with faded U.S. Forestry Service insignias, others stamped with prefixes like Fed and Bio, hinting at government associations. The presence of these marked containers raised numerous questions. Had Conway been involved with official research programs, or had he come into possession of government materials? Official agencies later declined to comment, deepening the mystery of their origin. Inside one crate, reels of film labeled in Conway's distinct handwriting were found with titles such as Cycle 19, Observations of Conscious Adaptation. Authorities have yet to reveal the contents of these tapes, but anonymous insiders claim the footage depicts phenomena that challenge accepted science. This sealed evidence lent a surreal tone to the investigation. Were these simply empirical studies, or were they more esoteric explorations of human potential? The journals that were discovered were probably the most disclosing ones. Analysts point out that Conway's drawings frequently combined human anatomy with animal nerve systems, indicating a research emphasis on the similarities between human and animal. Some of the pages depicted endurance experiments, tracing the process of adaptation of the human body to starvation, isolation, and extreme cold. Intrigued by these topics, Conway had long been carrying out personal experiments in survival. Some entries were as late as 2019 and signed only, as others were without signatures, hinting at either collaboration or multiple authorship. A corner in the room had a worn-out chest holding bones, mainly animal, and a handful of human bones that could be unmistakably identified. The investigations into the origins of these remains are still ongoing. Were they finds from the past, or proof of something more recent and unexplained? Such discoveries only served to further lift the atmosphere over the site, which was already unstable and teetering between scientific curiosity and growing mystery. People who were at the site recall Conway behaving as he was, a quiet, composed, yet indifferent person. Instead of repudiating the vault's existence, or the existence of its contents, he was said to have whispered, "They're not ready to see what I've seen," and then declined to elaborate. Such a cryptic statement brought forth questions. Who was they? And what had Conway seen that was worth such secrecy? It was obvious that the barn hid not only the tangible items, but also a profound story, too intricate to be easily understood by a layman. Taken together, these findings rewrote the narrative of Eustace Conway. Far from a simple mountain man, he appeared to be a custodian of a secret scientific archive, blending wilderness survival with experimental research. The secret vault's contents hinted at a lifelong quest to understand and perhaps transcend natural limits, challenging the boundary between self-reliance and scientific inquiry. Government ties and cryptic clues. Among the crates lining the walls of the barn's underground chamber, some bore unusual markings, faded logos of the U.S. Forestry Service, and serial numbers beginning with prefixes like Fed and Bio. These details suggested that at least some of the contents had official provenance, possibly once part of government research or environmental programs. Yet, when contacted, relevant agencies denied any records related to these materials, adding a layer of official secrecy and contradiction. This discrepancy fueled intense speculation. Was Conway involved in a covert project, or had he come into possession of relics from a forgotten branch of government research? The presence of such crates raised troubling questions about the true origin and purpose of the materials he stored. For a man so publicly committed to simplicity and nature, these government ties seemed incongruous, hinting at affiliations hidden beneath the surface. Further complicating matters were the cryptic journals and coded documents discovered alongside the specimens. Titles like Cycle Study and Project Living Legacy didn't merely suggest biological research. They hinted at broader experiments involving conscious adaptation and biological cycles. Handwritten notes referenced reversion data, implying studies into returning the body or mind to earlier, perhaps more primal, states. Such language suggested a profound obsession with transformation and survival on a fundamental level. The handwritten labels and journals were penned in Conway's distinctive script, yet some entries lacked signatures, indicating they might be collaborative or even the work of an unknown second party. Some cryptic pages contained sketches blending human and animal anatomy, reflecting a focus on the connections and boundaries between species. These clues pointed to a complex body of research, rich in symbolism and hidden meanings far beyond typical naturalist journals. Investigators also found reels of film bearing Conway's handwriting, but the content remains under strict confidentiality. An anonymous source claimed the tapes reveal phenomena that push the limits of accepted science, involving observations of conscious adaptation. These words alone ignite questions about whether the work relates to advanced biological experimentation, possibly involving human capacities for endurance and change. When officials confronted Conway about the government-stamped crates and coded materials, he was evasive. He acknowledged ownership, but insisted that the markings belonged to history, not to him personally. This ambiguous response left investigators wondering what role Conway had played. Was he a protector of lost knowledge or an active participant in these secretive endeavors? His refusal to provide concrete answers only deepened the mystery surrounding his connections. Further hints of official involvement appeared in the documented stamps and the archive's precise organization. Some experts speculated that Conway might have been preserving evidence of environmental and biological projects that authorities wished to keep out of public view. This theory aligns with whispers of underground programs dealing with adaptation and survival in extreme conditions, but no definitive proof has emerged. The tension between Conway's public persona and these shadowy affiliations raised complex questions about trust, secrecy, and the boundaries between personal pursuit and government oversight. How much did Conway know, and how much was he willing to reveal? Could he have been safeguarding something too sensitive for popular knowledge? Or was he concealing potentially dangerous knowledge? Amid mounting speculation, one thing remains clear. The discovery of government markings and cryptic journals hints at a hidden narrative far beyond a mountain man's retreat. These ties challenge perceptions of Conway's life and raise profound questions about what secrets are buried beneath Turtle Island and why they must remain hidden. The deeper the investigation went, the more the line between myth and reality blurred, setting the stage for the astonishing revelations yet to come. The discovery of the secret vault opened a door into a world that few dared to imagine, one where nature, science, and secrecy collided beneath the Appalachian forest. The true story of Eustace Conway and his mysterious barn is just beginning to unfold. Eustace Conway's silent response. When Eustace Conway finally appeared at the scene beneath the barn, his reaction was unlike what anyone anticipated. Rather than shock or panic, Conway wore an expression of calm defiance, quietly observing the investigation unfolding in his private vault. Witnesses reported hearing him mutter, "They're not ready to see what I've seen," a cryptic statement loaded with mystery and implication. This alone stirred a torrent of speculation. Who was they? And what had Conway witnessed that demanded such secrecy? Despite the mounting curiosity and pressure from authorities and the media, Conway remained mostly silent. He did not deny ownership of the strange artifacts and journals, but he refused to elaborate on their purpose or origin. When pressed about the crates marked with government codes, his response was deliberate yet ambiguous. "Those markings don't belong to me. They belong to history." This evasion deepened the divide between the man the public knew and the enigmatic figure now emerging from the shadows. Friends and insiders described a noticeable change in Conway's demeanor in the weeks surrounding the discovery. Previously focused on teaching and living simply in the wilderness, he became withdrawn, spending long hours alone and avoiding public appearances. Close acquaintances shared that he spoke cryptically about truths hidden beneath the land, hinting at knowledge too damaging or complex for the world to comprehend. Such behavior suggested a growing obsession or burden tied to whatever lay beneath his barn. Conway's refusal to provide straightforward answers left investigators and onlookers frustrated, but also oddly respectful. His calm, almost stoic presence contrasted sharply with the gravity of the situation and the swirling rumors. Rather than confront the controversy head-on, he seemed resigned, as if carrying a weight far beyond ordinary understanding. This subtle but powerful stance commanded attention and set him apart from others involved. Some theorized that Conway saw himself as a guardian of forbidden knowledge, protecting these secrets from exploitation or misunderstanding. To supporters, this painted him as a misunderstood visionary, dedicated to preserving ancient or suppressed truths. Critics saw behavior bordering on paranoia, pointing to a man whose lifelong desire for simplicity was now entangled with dangerous secrecy. Regardless, his silence only fueled the growing mystique surrounding the vault and its contents. With the investigation, government officials and environmental agencies, in a way, were soon to report their participation. The reason for them to join the case was the extraordinary nature of the finds and Conway's obvious involvement. Nevertheless, even as the scrutiny from outside grew, Conway held back his cooperation to a minimum by giving measured acknowledgments only, posting a handwritten note on his barn door saying, "Nature is older than truth. What we fear, we bury. What we bury, the earth remembers." He was still very much in the picture, and his enigmatic presence was even more enhanced. This message from him was ghostly, but at the same time added another level of drama to the situation by introducing a philosophical dimension. The earth remembers, and what Conway uttered became a slogan for the supporters and conspiracy theorists at the same time. It suggested something like buried histories and hidden truths that were not visible to the public. The phrase used drew attention to the deep connection which Conway was of the opinion that existed between mankind and nature. Whether it was a matter of natural phenomena or archaeological secrets, this very connection was likely to symbolize the entire secret vault and the man who guarded it. Conway, as usual, remained silent, but his presence was still very strong during the whole investigation process. His actions were both revealing and protecting at the same time. He looked like he was not ready to conclude the matter, while still being at the outer brink of technological advances, being between the two opposite worlds of revelation and mystery. The wisest in everyone, as it were, was his quiet determination that some truths are so heavy that they can only be revealed when the time is right, or maybe not at all. Ultimately, Conway's silent response added a new layer to the mystery, one of human resistance to exposing knowledge that challenges accepted norms. It forced everyone involved to question not just what lay hidden beneath the barn, but why it had been kept secret for so long, and what price would be paid for uncovering it. The stage was set for the most startling discovery yet, waiting just beyond the sealed doors. The strange skeletal remains. A hidden panel deep within the barn's underground chamber concealed what would become the centerpiece of the investigation, a skeletal figure unlike any known to science. At first glance, the remains appeared human, but closer forensic study revealed unsettling anomalies. The skeleton's proportions were off: elongated arms, unnaturally thin fingers, and a narrow, almost delicate jawline that defied standard human anatomy. Even bone density scans showed discrepancies that could not be explained by conventional means. Intriguingly, the bones were treated with an unknown preservation compound that prevented decay while imparting a faint metallic sheen. This substance baffled forensic experts who had never encountered such a treatment in either archaeological or biological contexts. While some officials speculated it might be an elaborate hoax, others could not dismiss the evidence indicating the skeleton had been deliberately preserved using advanced or experimental techniques. Next to the skeleton lay an open journal with Conway's unmistakable handwriting. The entry, dated October 2020, described the find. Found at creek bed near the ridge. Movement before stillness. Structure beyond human pattern. These words sparked intense debate. Was Conway documenting a genuine discovery or confessing to manipulation? The ambiguity of the phrase, structure beyond human pattern, suggested something more than ordinary remains. Whispers among investigators linked the skeleton to Conway's earlier anatomical sketches, some labeled adaptive reversion model. This alignment raised the possibility that the remains were connected to his secret experiments or observations on biological transformation. Was this evidence of a newly discovered species or the product of human modification? The implications stretched far beyond typical scientific inquiry, touching on the boundary between nature and human innovation. When questioned again, Conway offered little clarity but reportedly remarked, "It's not what you think. It's not death. It's transition." This cryptic comment fueled theories that the skeleton represented a form of evolution or metamorphosis, challenging conventional definitions of life and mortality. Authorities swiftly seized the remains, transferring them to a secured facility for further study, though public details remain tightly controlled. The sudden involvement of federal agencies, including the FBI, amplified suspicions that the skeleton might represent something extraordinary or potentially classified. Rumors spread that the remains were not just from this world or this century, but something neither entirely human nor fully alien. Though no official statements confirmed such claims, eyewitnesses who saw the skeleton described it as a baffling enigma straddling the line between familiar biology and the unknown. News of the discovery leaked rapidly, igniting a wildfire of speculation across social media and conspiracy channels. Amateur researchers dissected every leaked image for clues, suggesting the skeleton was proof of hidden histories or suppressed sciences. Supporters championed Conway's dedication to preservation, arguing the remains were part of an anthropological collection or a teaching model reflecting respect for natural history. On the other hand, skeptics pointed to inconsistencies, coded journals, government markings, and unregistered bones, and questioned the authenticity of the find. Some proposed that Conway might have stumbled upon evidence of an undiscovered species, or even stumbled into conspiracy by uncovering relics deliberately buried by authorities. The divide between believers and doubters underscored a profound uncertainty about what truth the bones embodied. Regardless of interpretation, the strange skeletal remains were undeniably the keystone of the barn's secret vault mystery. They challenged everything known about biology, history, and Conway himself. What began as a mountain man's sanctuary had become the epicenter of a puzzle that threatened to rewrite the boundaries of science and change the story of a man who lived by nature's rules, yet guarded secrets far beyond the wilderness. The revelations beneath the barn, along with Conway's silent but powerful posture, set the scene for discoveries that continue to blur the line between legend and reality. What was once a simple homestead now houses mysteries that will haunt the Appalachian woods for years to come. The network of underground tunnels. As investigators explored beneath Turtle Island Preserve, they uncovered a far more extensive and intricate construction than expected. A labyrinth of hand-carved tunnels beneath Conway's barn. Narrow passages, supported by weathered timber and old lantern hooks, stretched deep underground, one extending nearly 200 feet to a hidden chamber. Inside, artifacts filled the space. Rusted metal cages, glass jars with murky liquids, a massive wooden table covered in ancient maps and strange diagrams. The maps extended across the Appalachian Range, marked with symbols labeled R1 through R7, repeated across multiple locations steeped in local legend. Their meaning remains unknown, but the repetition suggested crucial importance, perhaps sites of study or historical significance. Experts speculated the tunnels served as part laboratory, part museum, and part message embedded within the land. One document bore a faded Department of Interior stamp from 1987, though officials denied any record, fueling theories of covert research or forgotten programs. Conway's cryptic remark, "Nature keeps records too. You just have to dig deep enough to find them," hinted at the philosophical weight of his work. Online speculation surged. Some suggested the tunnels were ancient burial sites, hidden labs, or part of a larger Appalachian network. Strange symbols carved into the walls resembled constellations, but in unusual arrangements, possibly secret messages. Work halted when unstable ground was discovered, though a second entrance half a mile away suggested the network extended far beyond the barn. Investigators faced unsettling questions. How far did the tunnels go, and what else lay hidden beneath the forest floor? As night fell, the team realized the discovery hinted at something far larger than a single site, a hidden world beneath Turtle Island. These tunnels, built from wood and soil, became a metaphor for the unknown depths beneath the earth, and for the mysteries Conway may have left behind, waiting for someone to uncover them. This sprawling underground network framed the discoveries not as isolated oddities, but as part of a grander design, one built on curiosity, concealment, and perhaps a deeper connection to the natural world. It became clear that understanding these tunnels would be essential to unlocking the full story behind Conway's secret vault and what it represented. The final journal and confession. Among the most sensational discoveries from Turtle Island was a leather-bound journal sealed in a metal box and penned entirely by Conway. Its opening line set a chilling tone. "If they find this, the cycle is already repeating." Inside were complex calculations, skeletal drawings, and notes on the biological harmony between humans and the environment. The journal reflected Conway's obsession with cycles of life, adaptation, and perhaps rebirth. Anatomical sketches blended human and natural elements, symbolizing a philosophy of living within nature's continual evolution. These were not mere scientific observations, they carried urgency and layered meaning. Most striking was a section in red ink. Conway confessed to unearthing bones decades earlier near a riverbed, remains unlike any known species. He described them as predating humanity, neither fully beast nor human, existing in delicate balance. These remains emitted a faint bioluminescent residue, the same found on the skeleton beneath his barn. Conway admitted hiding the discovery, fearing institutional denial would erase the truth. The journal's final entry, months before the discovery, contained a cryptic warning. They're waking again beneath the ridge. The land remembers its makers. This suggested a cyclical resurgence of forgotten life, challenging established histories. Shortly after completing the journal, Conway vanished. His truck was abandoned near the forest. Tools remained on the porch. Authorities sealed the property, citing hazards, and no official report has been released. Locals report a faint glow rising from the earth where the barn stood, adding an almost supernatural aura. Conway's journal encapsulates hidden knowledge and a man burdened with truths about evolution, survival, and humanity's place in the natural order. It serves both as a warning and an invitation, challenging anyone who encounters it to reconsider the boundaries between history, nature, and the unknown. Beneath the surface of Turtle Island, ancient secrets and modern mysteries collide. The story of what was found in Eustace Conway's barn is far from over, with each discovery opening new questions that may forever change how we see our place in the wilderness and in the world itself. Legacy and unanswered questions. The discoveries beneath Eustace Conway's barn have cast a long shadow over the man once celebrated as a pure example of self-reliance and harmony with nature. The image of Conway as a simple mountain man is complicated by the hidden vault, secret tunnels, and enigmatic skeletal remains. What seemed a straightforward story of wilderness survival now reads as a layered mystery, challenging our understanding of science, nature, and history. Many questions remain unanswered. Why did Conway hide these artifacts instead of sharing them? Was he protecting sacred knowledge or guarding something dangerous? His cryptic words and sudden disappearance deepen the enigma, leaving friends, officials, and followers grasping for clarity. The presence of human and non-human remains, government-marked crates, and scientific journals points to a hidden chapter of history that defies explanation. Some speculate Conway uncovered evidence of an unknown evolutionary link or ancient species, while others suspect clandestine research or government cover-ups. This uncertainty fuels ongoing speculation. Conway's silence after posting the haunting note, "Nature is older than truth. What we fear, we bury. What we bury, the earth remembers," suggests he understood the significance of his findings beyond their physical contents, hinting at a deeper philosophical truth about humanity's connection to nature. The sealed tunnels and vanished man add a near mythical quality. Was Conway a keeper of ancient wisdom or a man haunted by his own research? Did he disappear to protect secrets, or was he forced? These questions fuel both admiration and suspicion. Locals and online communities remain divided. Some see him as a misunderstood innovator, protecting nature's truths. Others as a man whose obsession crossed into secrecy. Government involvement, confiscation of items, and opaque practices add to the confusion, fueling theories of hidden agendas. Regardless, the discoveries beneath Turtle Island have forever altered Conway's narrative. He is no longer just America's last mountain man, but a figure of mystery and controversy. The barn's legacy extends beyond artifacts or tunnels, provoking critical questions. How much of the natural world and its truths are we prepared to face? And who holds the power to reveal them? What they found in Eustace Conway's barn has shattered simple stories and opened doors to deep, unsettling mysteries. This discovery challenges everything we thought we knew about the man and the wilderness he called home. If you want to follow this unfolding story and explore more mysteries with us, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. The truth is waiting.